I have been watching people fail for a long time, and I have noticed something that nobody talks about, because it is not exciting. It is not glamorous. It does not make a good headline, but it is the truth behind every single success story that has ever existed. Are you ready? Here it is. The person who wins is almost never the most talented, almost never the most gifted, almost never the smartest person in the room. The person who wins is the one who showed up on Tuesday when nobody was watching, when nothing exciting was happening, when there was no reward waiting, when motivation was completely gone, and showed up again on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and kept showing up long after everyone else found a reason to stop. That is it. That is the entire secret. Not talent, not intelligence, not luck, not the right opportunity. Consistency, the boring, unglamorous, unsexy, completely underrated, most powerful force in human achievement. And right now, you have access to it. The same access as anyone who ever built anything extraordinary. The question is not whether you have it. The question is whether you are willing to use it. Every single day, without exception, without applause, without guarantee. Because the people who stay consistent always win, always. Let me be honest with you about why consistency is difficult. It is not difficult because the tasks are hard. Most of the things we need to do consistently are not complicated. Wake up early, move your body, do the work, eat well, read, practice. None of these things are complicated, but they are hard because they require you to do them when you don't feel like it. And human beings are built to follow their feelings. When you feel motivated, you work. When you don't feel motivated, you don't. When you feel inspired, you create. When you don't feel inspired, you scroll. When you feel disciplined, you show up. When you don't feel disciplined, you make excuses. And this is the trap. Because motivation is not consistent. Inspiration is not consistent. Feelings are not consistent. If you wait to feel like it, you will never be consistent. Because the feeling you are waiting for will never arrive on schedule. Consistency requires something different. It requires a decision that lives above your feelings, a commitment that does not negotiate with your moods, a standard that holds whether you feel like it or not. That is consistency. And building it is the most important work you will ever do. I want to tell you about the most important day. It is not the day you have a breakthrough. It is not the day the results finally show. It is not the day someone recognizes your effort. The most important day is the day nothing happens, the day you do the work and nothing changes, the day you show up and the progress is invisible, the day you stay consistent with zero evidence that it is working. That day, that exact day, is where consistency is truly built. Because anyone can show up when results are coming. Anyone can stay consistent when momentum is building. Anyone can keep going when progress is visible. But the person who shows up when nothing is happening, that person is building something the others are not. They are building proof to themselves, that they are someone who does not need results to continue, that they are someone who does not need validation to keep going, that they are someone who trusts the process, even when the process gives them nothing back. That proof is the foundation of unshakable consistency, and it is only built on the days when nothing happens. Most people think consistency builds results, and it does. But that is not the most important thing it builds. Consistency builds identity. Every day you show up, you become more of the person who shows up. Every day you do the work, you become more of the person who does the work. Every day you stay consistent, you become more of a consistent person. Until one day, the consistency is not something you practice. It is something you are. It is who you have become. And that identity, that deep, unshakable sense of yourself as someone who shows up, is worth more than any single result. Because results are attached to specific goals. Goals that change. Goals that end. But identity follows you everywhere. Into every new challenge. Every new goal. Every new chapter of your life. The consistent person does not need to rebuild discipline every time they start something new. Because discipline is not something they have. It is something they are. And you can become that person, one consistent day at a time. I need to warn you about something, because it will come. It always comes. At some point in your consistency journey, you will look at someone else, someone who seems further ahead, someone who seems to have achieved more, someone who seems to be winning. while you are still grinding in the dark. And in that moment, comparison will try to convince you that your consistency is not working, that you are behind, that the gap between you and them is too large to close. Do not listen to that voice, because that voice is lying to you. It is not showing you their journey. It is showing you their arrival. It is not showing you their consistent days. It is showing you their results. It is not showing you their dark mornings, their invisible progress, their years of showing up when nobody was watching. You are comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. And that comparison will kill your consistency if you let it. Run your own race, at your own pace, on your own timeline. Because the only comparison that matters is who you are today versus who you were yesterday. Let me give you the practical framework, the one that actually works. First, make it non-negotiable. Not, I will try to be consistent. But this is what I do every day, without discussion, without negotiation, without the option to skip. The moment consistency becomes optional, it stops being consistency. Second, make it small enough to always do. The biggest enemy of consistency is setting the bar too high. When the bar is too high, the days you can't reach it become reasons to quit entirely. Lower the bar. Make the minimum so small that on your worst day, you can still do it. Because a small, consistent action always beats a large, inconsistent one. Third, attach it to something that already exists. After I make coffee, I read 10 pages. After I wake up, I move my body for 10 minutes. After I sit at my desk, I work on the most important task first. Use existing habits as anchors for the new consistent behaviors. Fourth, track it visibly. Put it somewhere you see every day. Mark each consistent day. Build the chain and protect the chain, because the visual evidence of your consistency becomes its own motivation. Fifth, recover quickly when you break it, because you will break it. Everyone does. The difference between people who stay consistent long-term and people who don't is not that the consistent people never miss. It is that when they miss, they never miss twice. One missed day is an accident. 2 missed days is the beginning of a new habit. Never miss twice. Let me show you something that will change how you see consistency. Imagine 2 people. Person A shows up every day, no matter what. Even on bad days, even when progress is invisible, even when motivation is zero. Person B shows up only when they feel like it, which is about half the time. In 1 month, Person A has shown up 30 times. Person B has shown up 15 times. In 1 year, Person A has shown up 365 times. Person B has shown up 182 times. In 3 years, Person A has shown up over 1,000 times. Person B has shown up just over 500. Now here is the key. Each showing up builds on the last. Each day of consistency compounds. Each rep makes the next rep easier. Each consistent action reinforces the identity. So Person A is not just ahead by the number of days. They are ahead by the compound effect of all those days. The skill built, the identity formed, the confidence earned, the momentum created. The gap between Person A and Person B, after 3 years of this, is not 2 times. It is not even 5 times. It is immeasurable. And it started with one decision: to show up today, even when they didn't feel like it. Life will disrupt you. I want to be clear about this. Illness will come. Loss will come. Unexpected circumstances will arrive and knock your consistency off track. And that is okay. Life is not a controlled environment. And expecting perfect consistency in an imperfect life is setting yourself up to fail. What matters is not perfect consistency. What matters is returning consistency. The ability to get back on track after life knocks you off. Quickly, without drama, without weeks of recovery, without using the disruption as an excuse to quit. The consistent person does not have a perfect record. They have a high return rate. They get knocked down, and they get back up fast. Not because life is easy, but because they have decided that no disruption, no matter how significant, gets to permanently end their consistency. They allow setbacks. They do not allow surrenders. Consistency is not just about work. Let me talk about the areas of life where consistency matters most. In your health, your body does not respond to occasional effort. It responds to consistent effort. 10 minutes of movement every day does more than 2 hours once a week. Not because the total volume is higher, but because consistency signals to your body that this is the new normal. In your relationships, the most valuable thing you can give someone is not grand gestures. It is consistent presence, consistently showing up, consistently checking in, consistently being someone they can rely on. That consistency builds trust. And trust is the foundation of everything meaningful. In your finances, consistent small savings beat inconsistent large ones every time. Because consistency builds habits, and habits compound. In your mind, consistently feeding it good things, consistently protecting it from negative influences, consistently challenging it to grow, produces a mind that works for you instead of against you. I want to end with something real. The world will always celebrate the arrival, the trophy, the achievement, the moment of success. But I am here to celebrate something different. I am here to celebrate the Tuesday. The ordinary Tuesday. When nobody was watching. When nothing exciting was happening. When you had every reason to skip. And you didn't. That Tuesday is more important than the trophy. Because the trophy was built on Tuesdays. Hundreds of them. Thousands of them. Ordinary days. Unremarkable days. Days that history will never record. But days that built the person who eventually stood holding the trophy. You are in the middle of your Tuesdays right now. And they don't feel significant. They never do. But trust me, they are. Every consistent day you put in right now is building something. Something that will matter. Something that will last. Something that the future version of you will look back on with deep gratitude. So stay consistent. Not because it is easy. Not because results are showing. Not because anyone is watching. But because you have decided that you are someone who shows up every day, without exception. And that decision, made consistently, will change everything. Stay consistent. Now go.